All right, sorry about that. I don't know what the hell happened, but hopefully you guys are able to trickle back in, and at least we were we were live for a little bit to get you guys daily expected moves early on. But we're starting to see some interesting things. Wanted to talk about the dollar, looking like that wants to make an upward move. Volatility looking like it's curling down, like a 30-minute pullback could happen, so some upside for the market does make sense, and we'll notice that the Qs are starting to fade back below the daily expected move. All right. So what we ultimately want to see is, does the 30-minute cross down, and then does the 2-hour cross down with it? That's kind of what we want to pay attention to this morning. I'm going to go like this. We got to delete this. And thank you guys for coming in and right away liking the video. I just saw the previous one and I'm like, oh, wow, we're live for 10 minutes and had 20 likes. So I really appreciate that. Thank you guys. Nvidia is crashing. Nvidia breaking below that head and shoulders area, right? Definitely breaking below the head and shoulders area. This is why I was really cautious with that upside move. It took profit right away. With the state of the market, there's just too much risk. Too much risk. And the thing is, Nvidia was very likely to keep going down with the weekly divergence, right? This is why we said this is something to really watch out for. Now you're noticing everything else hold green. This is what we notice a lot of the time. Nvidia crashes. Nvidia goes down a little bit more, right? Sells off a little bit more, and everything, or at least half the market, ends up going up to hold things at higher levels. But this is going down to the weekly 20, so we would look for support in these areas. We can even look at our weekly expected moves and things like that. I don't think we see too many reversal signals around those areas. And it can go lower than that, it can. So we want to look on the 30-minute scale here and see if any divergences are still there. And they are still there, actually. So you still have the potential that this is just a kind of a fake out to take out stops, weirdly enough. You have the potential for it not, though. I don't like to, me personally, I will not be trading Nvidia. Weekly divergence is something that I do not fuck with. No gracias. Now, Q still breaking to the upside while Nvidia goes down, right? Very interesting there. SPY still struggling to break through. But I think you're really just watching the Qs here. You're really just watch. Now, if we were saying a weekly expected move, which weekly expected move do you think from this right here do you think is the most likely to touch? Well, it's this one, right? 539.55. I don't necessarily have those signals that say like, oh yeah, this is going to be some kind of bigger pullback. I haven't had that confirmed. We still have it, we just haven't confirmed it. So if we just keep doing this, we get rid of this. Right? Even if we see the divergence on the MACD, we might get rid of it on the RSI. That would lead us to believe this can even continue a little bit higher. We're still looking for this to confirm over here, right? We're still looking for it. Now this was really quick, so I'm gonna take that as a hiccup moment and say this is the actual one I want to be paying attention to right now. AMD coming down to lower levels. AMD having great divergence as well. Super interesting to see these things make some really interesting. Now it is spread out, so you could argue this is not the strongest base. This most likely will have to build structure on the way up. We most likely will have to see this go like that, take back the 5, right, and then come back down for that retest, and then you'd have yourself a nice little head and shoulders here for AMD. So pretty much that would state this. Right, bullish over 131.50 is pretty much what that looks like. Notice Nvidia starting to wick up a little bit there, but I think the Qs are still the thing we want to be watching very closely. All right, I'm gonna go pull up my other charts for a moment here. Sorry about the little mishap. I have never experienced this many internet issues in my entire life, ever since I moved into this place, man. So annoying, so annoying, so annoying. Let's look for reversal signals here. Oh, wait, was it Bitcoin? Didn't Bitcoin see a nice move over the weekend? Oh yeah, Bitcoin saw a nice move. Just look for any kind of weakness here. Actually, Bitcoin's probably about to get its, I mean, if it can break through pretty cleanly here, if you can get a clean bar here, you might see another squeeze in this, like kind of like just a rapid growth for a moment. I'd say 110, 110K, definitely, if that can confirm up on the daily. But like, Bitcoin's in a weird spot. It's like you may have a little upside left. If you violate divergence, it can see crazy upside, but if this thing starts to drop, it can drop pretty heavy if we start to lose. Well, you'd have to lose this little zone between 91.6K and 87K. That would probably revert you all the way back down to 73K pretty quick for Bitcoin. But it has not confirmed the move higher just yet, but it's built a bunch of liquidity. So you're in a spot where it's like, could go up, could go down. So I'd be watching very closely if that confirms up in the next day or two. You go look at oil. That's my trade setup. I know that curled down. I actually like this from US oil. I actually really like this from US oil. The fact that we're getting this little 2-hour pullback remaining healthy. Now I know that there's divergence here, but I have to understand there's daily divergence here as well. So I'm expecting this to pull down to the 5 a lot. All right, I'm expecting these little reactions off the 5 to just keep going. So if this starts to lose the 5, that might be a different story. But I just really like how this set up. Dang. The only thing I'm looking into is how is FOMC going to affect this? All right, let's pop back over to the Qs. Actually, let's look at some other stuff. Let's look at Apple. Apple showing the 2-hour divergence. See that curling up one more time. This is where you have to be open to this being like a double bottom or something like that. And it did curl up. And we were saying, hey, watch for that to go positive right away. Oh, went positive right away. So very likely we are going to see this maybe even curl up the 2-hour for a brief moment, but we have weekly expected moves. So if we do get some kind of rapid move up and that starts to fade off there, we see that cross down or reject in some way. Okay, that's kind of the signal we're looking for. Apple does need, just like a lot of other stocks, a daily pullback, and we're outside of monthly expected moves. So unless this market's going to go absolutely ballistic from here to the upside and get rid of a lot of divergences and things like that on other charts, we're chilling. This is it right here, the keys. Let me see what you guys are chatting about. Good morning again, yes. Is 115. Oh, thanks, Ben. Thanks for shouting that out. Aliens. Short oil at 74. Now, if we go look at US oil, I'm not thinking this will be some kind of massive move this time, actually, because of FOMC. I actually think, and it really depends if the market starts to turn down, but I do actually think 74, 75 is a good area to pay attention to for it. So I think we're on the same page. UJT getting a little spike up here. Let's check on our boys. AMC dropping down to $4. $4. Remember what we were saying? You start to lose this, that gets a little worrisome even more, right? This is not good. This is not good. You can come all the way down back to 286. Now we have monthly expected moves. Okay, we have monthly expected moves for stocks like AMC, GME, SOFA, all these other ones. And so we can pay attention to things, and when people really think it's scary, 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 right, when people get the most fear, we just go, oh, okay, that's a monthly expected move. That's cool. So we can drop a little bit more than this and still be like, oh, okay, that's as low as it's supposed to go. Now, we want to see reversal signals for sure. For sure want to see those. GameStop, you know, everyone wanting this thing to go up, wanting it to go up. That's perfectly fine, but you just do not have the signals saying that that is going to happen, right? We stated that yesterday. Everything is negative here. You need to start with that 30-minute, get the 2-hour going, get the daily going, and you're up a very, very close range today, right? You just have to break through 30.59. But I think most likely those are not going up until the market goes down. Mara with a nice move here. Ooh, Mara with a nice move here. Look at this guy. Great with the 30-minute divergence too in our buy zone. So 30-minute divergence in the buy zone, one little more blip to create that little, you would say higher low. And then you actually took this back. So this looks like the 2 hours going to cross up and boom, 2 hours crossing up. So that's fantastic. That actually looks really, really nice. It's not like the strongest base on the 2 hour, but you're not even oversold here. So this actually can be better than you think as long as you can break through. I think above $25, you're looking back to, oh, grabbing liquidity on the way up, right? We see the waviness. So I think above $25, this doesn't look bad anymore. Look at that daily. The daily's still very positive. So if that can curl up at any moment, you might be able to see this go kind of nuts, which would suggest maybe good things for Bitcoin, as Bitcoin does have the daily that has not confirmed yet. And it's trying to today. This is what I'm saying. You have like the kind of the squeeze behavior. But look at this, just starting to ramp up, and you might get a moment that just goes like this. But just remember what we said about those very extended, very vertical moves. You can get a waterfall of selling to come from that, and it actually can go up fast. It can drop even faster from those levels. So I'm not going to be bearish on this. I'm not going to short anything with this. I'm just going to be aware, hey, if I'm an investor in this for a long period of time and maybe I pay attention to daily divergence, or maybe I'm looking for an opportunity because I got down in here and I'm just trying to trade the damn thing. Well, if I start to see this little guy right here, if we see this happen, then I would go, okay, I'm probably going to scrape some off the top, and if it curls down, I'm going to scrape a little more. And then what I kind of do is hold half, right? I always hold half of things that I want to keep, kind of like trading the other half. Mara, great move out the gate here. Qs, they're still going. Qs still going. We got to see if they violate the divergence, because that can tell us a lot. That can tell us a lot. You have not done that yet, but this can tell us a lot. If we're able to get above this level for the RSI, it will tell us a ton. Because, and just notice this, it's kind of like here, we weren't able to get above these levels for the RSI, right? We made the very obvious divergence curl down when you actually lost everything. Boom, we saw that corrective move. Big thank you, big shout out to Nvidia for giving us the divergence to tell us we were going to bounce again, right? Got to say thank you to the stocks that give us hints. So we're looking for this over here, and we might have it, but we might not, right? This might still keep going. Bitcoin's about to maybe surge. Mara looks like it wants to make an upward move. We'll see. I'm still leaning towards, hey, seeing this right here, and then I'll be paying attention, and boom, ooh, ooh. Let's look at the plan. What's the plan here, right? Well, we know where the baseline is, right here, right? So if we're going to get bearish in some way, well, we might see something like this, like this, like this. That'd be interesting, right? We're just formulating scenarios so we're ready to react when they do happen. So now we know, oh, if this confirms down, hey, it's very likely to curl over the 2 hour. Where's the 2 hour likely to bounce? Probably by that weekly expected move. Why would the 2 hour bounce? Probably because of FOMC, and then we turn up and then we cross back down. Now we also have to pay attention to if bigger time frames confirm here, then we're going back to the upside. We're not going to complete the head and shoulders. But now we kind of have a plan for both directions. If this continues in the upward direction, like I said, I'm not trying to short necessarily because of the daily chart. I'm more looking for those bullish opportunities. That's why, you know, last week, my only trade was a bullish trade. I think the other trade is oil, and that's a bullish trade as well, right? I took that short-term bullish trade on Nvidia, made some money out of it, saw the risk in the market, got out, looked at oil and said, hey, that's a good signal. I'm going to get into this for like a month. See if we can get an upside move there. Now oil started to drop off. I got to look at if I need to manage my risk there, right? If I need to manage my trade, but just got to pay attention. We need more time to see what's going to happen here. Is it a break above the 30-minute fail like this? Let's look at Meta. Did it have a failed move? Meta is one that I'm very worried about. Yes, it is failing. Okay, this is why it's important to understand. A lot of the time I say at least 70 to 80% of the bar. So what does that mean? Well, once you get to 20 minutes into a 30-minute bar and you're still green like this, well, give it a couple minutes. If that's still green, okay, that's when I can maybe make a decision, or I can wait for the completion of that bar, right? So I know, hey, that has confirmed. We are above the 5 now. Okay, once that has confirmed, then it's like, okay, test the high, go make a new one. It's not, it's green in the first minute, so therefore it has to do this. No, it needs to confirm that. You notice it's going away on the MACD. This is kind of troublesome for Meta, and it's for the reasons that I was discussing yesterday when I kind of just very lightly mentioned that we could make some form of head and shoulders in here. We have violated that, so I'm not really liking that look now that I actually draw it out. I think it's more likely we react down to like 607, then we see a right shoulder if we're going to head down. If we're going to head up, then you just still got to confirm this 30-minute. Now the 2-hour is the reason that I was a little bit sketched out by this. We are seeing weakness, we are outside of monthly expected moves, and we are noticing that a signal that likes to turn down daily charts is here. What's the big problem with the daily for Meta? Uh-oh, daily divergence. If that confirms, that is suggesting more weakness. It would still, you always want to pay attention if that can curl up again, just in case, hey, this isn't going to show that weakness. But what I would more be paying attention to is a test of 598.41 at some point. That is where I plan to try to get a little bit more bullish, right? I'm a position guy. I'm not a short-term short. Like, I'm not going to take, if that 30-minute crossed up, I'm not taking a trade up to here, right? I'm more so looking for, oh, do we get down to here, see a little 2-hour, 30-minute divergence, and then I can go, okay, cool. That's going to bounce. And then I can take a little trade if it's on a 30-minute. I can take a bigger trade if it's 2-hour. I went short. Tesla resistance at 440 is the top in my opinion. Well, the problem with calling a resistance for Tesla is I like that you at least gave me a whole number. That's a good thing. The signals here are what we're paying attention to, right? The 30-minute is the first thing we need to roll. Now, I'm not, I mean, Tesla is doing the thing, right? Tesla, if we look at this on the daily, and we talked about those ones that can get some kind of waterfall of selling, that would technically be Tesla. And this always has a lot of implied volatility. The reason that would be Tesla is because look at the verticalness, right? So that can be given up very quickly. So I'm still paying attention to right in here. About 363, I think would be a great retest. That's where we broke out from. Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we go like this? Can we go like this to give me that next trade higher? That's what I want to see. I'm very, 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 very hesitant to short Tesla. AKA, I'm not going to short Tesla because if this just goes another 30-minute like this and then it confirms and then it turns back up and violates those divergences, Tesla has been very, very bullish, right? So I more want to pay attention to the next bullish opportunity, in my opinion. Now, if I was trying to short something, I'd be looking for if the Qs confirm this signal, right? And then I'd be looking for my options across the board, maybe with something like Meta confirming 2-hour divergence. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I had to stretch. I've had some back problems. I worked out way too hard over the weekend. Well, I know this. I think Japan's in a tough spot. How do I think it's going to affect the market? Well, it's kind of difficult as a trader, in my opinion, in this environment where everything seems like good news, right? It's more like the trend just keeps continuing. So in order for me to really see an event and then be bearish, I can read into the event however I want. I can be like, oh, them raising rates could be terrible for everything, for their banks, for blah, blah, blah. You know, that makes sense. But at the same time, I go, but if it's terrible for everything and we just see the Qs curl up on a 2-hour chart, then the Qs are going to go higher, right? That's all I really want to read into. It'll be very interesting to see this week. I think FOMC is probably the biggest event now of 2024 in December here. But give me your opinion, Ben. I want to hear yours. W key suspended. You could go below $4 for sure for AMC. Yeah. If you're a part of Patreon, you can get the weekly and the monthly expected moves, and it makes it very obvious like where you're kind of gonna gravitate to if you're going to go as low as you can go. But we need to see if there's any reversal signals there. You don't have any. You don't have 30-minute divergence. You don't have 2-hour at least I'm pretty sure. You had the one here, but because that's not playing out, you're starting to break below these levels. That's a problem. You can say it's still across, and that's fine. You can take that into consideration, but just note that is not the best signal now. That is not the best signal. Yeah, and the reason that this was very skeptical to take right in here is just for the reason of I like that to go back above the 5 now. The 5 is, oh yeah, that's what I need to put in the course actually. The 5 is something very, very important because you can keep rejecting off of that, you know, as we move sideways. 5 slightly catches up, move down. Oh, thanks for saying that, Suri. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I try to keep it simple, and something that really helped out my trading was keeping it simple, right? That is something that really helped. I used to be super complicated. I used to have 10 indicators. I used to play for Lux Algo. I used to do all these things. I used to look for all the waves. I used to look for the zones. And then I just said, what if I just look for my zones and really pay attention to weeklies and really focus on, hey, how is this thing moving higher? How could it move lower? When is the timing for it to pull back? That's more helping me. So once I just narrowed it down to, I just need these specific 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. They're really simplified things. And so we try to talk simply all the time. We try to talk simply about how there is no daily divergence here. So there most likely will be another bullish opportunity. We're violating just like this again. I'm going to look at this line later and see if we can find a point here, but we're violating this again. So what could we see? Well, we might see a moment like this. Look at this. What if we just see a little moment like this? Right? That would be enough, but here's the opportunity, right? And it could be that simple. It could just be this, right? So we're going to pay attention very closely in here, all right? But anytime that daily curls up, it is suggesting that it's going to make a new high. Like it really is, as long as it remains positive. I mean, look over here. When we violated it, we did this. We're doing the first part of that maybe right now. We're just riding this up. We haven't even gotten the test of the 20 yet, so that is worrisome, but it is possible. Nike looking good. I did see some people talking about Nike. We could look at that actually. Let's look at that. I did see some people really shouting out Nike. Ooh, is that a double bottom? Oh, I wish it was on the RSI a little bit better. Is this higher than that point? Is this hidden divergence and I'm just being silly? No, they're pretty even there. Still could be double bottom for your MACD. I actually like that. Did the 2-hour confirm up? Okay, that 2-hour confirms up. You might actually have a good shot here getting into our zone. It's a big zone. It's a big zone, but this would be, they're trying to really carve out that next low from the breakout area, right? We see that very obvious line. If I draw a line here, we can really see where this broke out, right? This gap, bam. Where do you keep testing? Where that gap was. So I think that's your breakout area. You get 2 tests into it, pretty much have 30-minute divergence. Yeah, I kind of like it, short Fridays. I think if this 2-hour can really confirm up, I think you're oh, and the daily would reject. God, it's like once every 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, it's so, like, can I sue Cox at this point? Jesus. Great rejection again for the higher low. So the weekly hasn't even gone positive yet. Thank God. You look at MS. Yeah, we can take a look probably. But yeah, I think short Friday, I think you have a great chance to get into this zone. Now the question from here is, can you hold in that zone? And the other question is, this has been going down for a long time. A long time. Ooh. Now that's in negative territory, but you're down at COVID lows too. Oh, sorry, this is when Meet Kevin told you to buy Nike, and I made fun of him. Sorry about that. Let me get this off. If you didn't know, Meet Kevin told everyone to buy Nike here, so that didn't play out very well. Sorry, we'll get him off. Not meaning to make fun of people. But here, if you really look at this, I want you to see this short Fridays, so maybe, because this could be a decent opportunity. I really want to look at this. I got to make some changes on my lines here because of the thickness. There we go. That's probably fine. We see that we're getting tighter, right? Damn, this is looking pretty damn good. And you're at COVID lows. So this is very interesting to me. And the other thing that's interesting is if I look at this RSI, I am slightly upward too there. Oh, I'm kind of digging it. If that monthly turns up, that means that Nike might be potentially a good investment for 12 to 24 months. That's going to take some time, right? That's going to take some time. So if you're looking shorter term, it looks like we're probably going to see a move up towards $83 if this can really confirm into positive territory. I'd really like that zone. You've built a lot of liquidity. Breakthrough. Maybe do the same thing, breakthrough again. Because you're going to need a new series of divergences. This is going to be a new sequence. And then up in here, I'd pay attention to if you make this type of signal again. But that's all I would say about that one. That was a cool one. I really like that one. Thank you for bringing it up. MJ, not MS. Okay, we'll look at MJ. Let's go pop over to this real quick. And thank you so much for the 250, Justin. Really appreciate it. Thank you. We can see some interesting stuff right away. I don't like the look of the 2 hour. You can convince yourself this is divergence. I wouldn't. I would more so be paying attention to the daily here. If that daily can flip up back to positive, well, that's looking a little bit better. But right now it's crossed down, which means bad things. That means really bad things. So usually for